Alright, people, this is Pray Love, and I'm doing a different kind of video than I usually do with fragrances. I'm going to talk about um, the whole nutrition, fitness aspect of life, and because I think it's important that I share some things that I that I experienced during the journey. Because when I first started the channel, I was actually also starting a huge weight loss journey. I think I lost like 60 pounds or something like that, and it's been ups and downs and ups and downs, and I think I only figured it out like very recently, perhaps a year and a half ago or something like that. That I really figured out like, okay, what to do to gain muscle, lose weight, and like be in a better shape. And I'm not like wanting to be like the selling products and like fitness influence people or whatever, but I think it's nice to have a perspective of someone that was actually quite a noob to all this talk about nutrition and fitness, and having someone that's like, I'm not wanting to do a 2 months transformation or a like lose 20 pounds in 20 days or whatever. It's really not like that, and I think that's it's quite the opposite. I found that the best way to actually lose weight but still put on muscle and still be in a better shape day after day after day is actually to lose it very slowly. Get your like get your caloric intake to be very near your maintenance. And what I mean by that is that there's always a point when what you eat, you don't like, if you eat that much in a day, you won't gain weight, you won't lose weight. And there's a point where if you don't eat enough, then you lose weight, and if you eat too much, you'll gain weight. Too much or not enough is like it's not really like not enough or too much. It's just like if you eat more than that, you gain. If you eat less, you lose. And it's calories in, calories out. It's just if you eat your maintenance, then the definition of eating your maintenance is you not gaining, not losing weight, right? So it's that simple. Whether it's muscle or fat or any type of weight gain you get, it's just if you eat at maintenance, you don't lose, you don't gain. That's what it is. If you eat less calories in your maintenance, then you will lose something. You will lose fat, perhaps. You will lose if your body is has a lot of fat, then you will lose more fat. If it doesn't have enough fat, you lose more muscle. You lose different stuff. Okay, so you lose stuff in your body when you diet down. If you diet down too fast, if you say like, oh, I'm gonna eat I don't know, 1,000 calories less every day, like 1,000 calories less than what I normally eat every day. Perhaps it's gonna be too much. Perhaps it's gonna be good. Perhaps you eat 1,000 calories more than you need every day, and then if you bring it back, you just stabilize yourself. And then if you get it down at 1,000 calories, then you start losing a lot of weight. I think that what people should be aiming for is not like 1,000, it's not like 2,000, it's not starving yourself necessarily. I know people that actually my mother, she likes to do like 1 week fasts and stuff like that. I'm really not for that because I also want to put on more muscle and more muscle, and I want to I think it's not that I don't have the willpower perhaps to do that, but as also I don't think it's that healthy. So what I'd recommend is getting between 250 to 500 calories less than you normally eat. Uh, and you know that's another thing, okay? Tracking calories. You can track them, all right? It's pretty easy because you know the foods. You can look it up on Google. There's apps for that. There's tons of things for that. Um, I'm really not the type that really wants to track calories. I just get aware of like approximately the macros I'm wanting to have for a day and trying to reach that, but I like it more if it's like an overall diet. You know, it's like I eat low fat type of protein sources and not too many carbs and whatever. And so, in general, I can eat a lot of volume of food without eating too many calories. That's another thing, you know. If you eat a lot of fibers, a lot of protein, you get full. You don't want to eat chips after that, and if you don't have ice cream at all home or chips or whatever, you don't eat those, and then you you lose these calories that you would normally eat. So what I'd suggest is, yeah, perhaps a 250, 500 cut, but when you cut those calories, how do you know your maintenance? There's calculators out there that get you approximately what your maintenance is, but it's an approximation. So the only real way to know, and it's kind of stressful when you think of, about it because you can be wrong. Um, and I used to be wrong sometimes. I was like, oh, I think I'm cutting sufficient amount of calories, and then I was just, you know, always at the scale, getting at the scale every day, and then it's not dropping, and it's not dropping for months. I thought I was, and then oh yeah, okay, I could take off that food, and then you see it happen, and you're like, oh, it happens in general, and that's why you need to scale every day because perhaps one day you'll be at 10 up to 10 pounds more than your average. Okay, so it's an average. Think about it like that. And you need to plot it and be like, okay, it's an average. For the week, what was the average? For the week, what was the average? Always ask yourself that question. And is the average dropping down? This is the most important because the actual weight you are doesn't really matter. You know, it's not supposed to be your goal. Your goal is not a number on the scale. It's just okay, I don't know, I've got um, 10 pounds of fat that I want to get rid of. Then you need to be on a calorie cut and you can see, oh, yeah, yeah, okay, you're down 10 pounds. And then you can keep at that baseline and just keep on adding muscle and adding muscle, and then your fat will when you're at maintenance calories, when you eat just enough that your body burns all the calories, you don't gain weight, but you kind of you can look leaner because you can go to the gym and then your muscle will rise, but for your weight to keep the same, your fat will burn, and then you will look leaner even though you're the same weight. Okay, so right now I think I look leaner than a month ago, but i'm I'm the same weight. I just go to the gym all the time and I eat at maintenance. I stopped the caloric deficit because when you get into a caloric deficit for a long time, it can have bad effects on your life. Like it just can make you a bit less energetic, whatnot. Okay, so I think that it's important that you also understand that you can be in a caloric deficit for 3 months. It's okay. But after a while, when you start noticing that you have less energy and stuff, try to eat a bit up and to maintenance, not to gain back, but to maintenance, just to stay there and gain back your energy, and then you can, if you want, you can start the cut again and descend to uh, your ideal weight, your ideal body fat percentage also. And I think that also you need to understand that some people are not healthy when they get too far down in their body fat percentage and their weight. So that's another. There's all these things in consideration, but it all comes down to that one simple thing: calories in, calories out. If you're very active and you eat less, well, you're gonna gain muscle and you're gonna burn fat, and at some point you're gonna be able to just stay at maintenance, put on muscle, still burn a bit of fat because muscle to be created, it needs energy, so it takes it somewhere, so whatever, and then you're gonna stay there. You're gonna stay at a perfect amount of everything, and you can, the more you exercise, the more your maintenance calories get elevated. So at some point, okay, you exercise 6 times a week, lifting, and you get your cardio done and whatever, then you're always getting your maintenance. You're always getting the calories you expend every day to go a bit up, a bit up, a bit up, and then you can eat a bit more. If you do cardio and you actually burn 250 calories running around or walking or doing bicycle or whatever cardio form you like, then at the end of that, this is gonna be like energy expenditure that you're gonna be uh, you can eat that. Okay, it's 200 calories, yeah, but well, 250 calories, for example, is a Mars bar, so don't think, okay, I've burned 250 calories, I can have a Mars bar, but it's still, it's a Mars bar, and a Mars bar is calorie dense. It's a little thing that's full of calories. So if you eat 250 calories of lettuce, of apples, yeah, of blueberries, it's completely different. It's a huge portion of food. So it gets up pretty quickly. And in fact, when you wait a lot, like I do, the energy expenditure that my body makes me, like, the energy that I expend just being there, just existing, is like higher than if I weighed lower. So there's tons of things like that, and that's why calorie tracking is difficult. That's why it's difficult, because you can track your calories, you can estimate what calories you burn in a day, but if you get the calories uh, up to what you calculated, and then you're still gaining weight, it's because the calculations were wrong and you burn less calories than that. And if you're trying to gain weight, but then you calculate it and you're not gaining weight, that doesn't mean that there's a special trick somewhere. There's an element that prevents it from being fat, or some weird voodoo science thing out there. It doesn't mean that. What it means is only that your calculations are wrong. You should be eating more, or you should be eating less to get to your goal. That's the baseline of everything, okay? There's nothing on earth that will contradict this rule. It's when you get energy, that you store energy in the forms of fat or muscle or whatever. And then if you store that energy, fine, it's still there in storage. If you want to lose it, you need to take less energy so that you use your storage. And if you want to put on more muscle, put on more fat, then you need to eat more energy so that it gets stored. That's the baseline of it, and it's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. And there's no like, oh yeah, if you eat that at a certain time, or there's a avocado or a calorie dense, but they still make you leaner. That's no, there's nothing like that. It doesn't exist. And for fat distribution, it's also, we're all doomed to one thing, it's genetics. If if your fat distribution is at a certain place, like for a lot of men, around the abdominal area, you won't get abs until you get rid of that fat. But it's probably going to be one of the last places where the fat comes out because of genetics, because it's just like that. And the women, it's more in their breasts and their thighs and whatever. Well, these are the last places it's going to come off of. It's the glutes, the thighs, whatever. But if you're genetic, you gain muscle in your triceps here, well, you're gonna have like bubble flask triceps, and you're gonna be like, yeah, but it's not because you're eating this kind of bread, or because you're not eating enough avocados or bananas or whatever. It's not because of that. It's because your genetics give you a predisposition to have fat in certain areas and others less, you know. So most people, yeah, in the back they're less fat than on the breasts area, and you know, there's things like that that are, most of the time it's like that. If you're not like that, it's not because of what you're eating. It's not because you're exercising less your abdominal. Like, this is, there's tons of myths out there. Be wary of the myths. Think of only one thing. If you work out a specific area, yes, the muscle will grow in that area, but the fat will not get off that area more. Okay, so it's not the same thing. And if you exercise a lot, it doesn't mean that you're burning more calories. You know, just baseline. Okay, calories in, calories out. If you're losing fat, you're in a deficit. If you're gaining fat, you're bulking. If your weight stays the same, you're eating exactly, approximately exactly, your maintenance calories every day. That's the most simple and like thing to ever consider. And where your fat is depends on your genetics. Where you lose your fat depends on your genetics. You can't do anything about that. What you can do is just trying to keep it off, trying to be healthy. We don't need anyone to be like super big and muscular all the time, and we don't ask you to defy your genetics. Just be beautiful with the genetics you have, and be healthy, and being healthy is beautiful, and it's okay. And some people, they hold on to fat a lot more than others. They gain fat super quick, and it's impossible for them to get it off, it seems. Accept yourself as you are. You know, there's some things that, some battles are worth being fought, some others perhaps not. But try to be the most healthy version of yourself. It doesn't mean that because you hold on to a lot of fat, you can go to the gym and have fun, you know, and be healthy, you know, and get your heart rate running, and getting cardio and stuff. And it doesn't like doesn't mean that your appearance is not necessarily linked to your health, in general. So, that being said, spread love and spray love. Bye bye.